If you've heard about the amazing effectiveness of email as a sales channel, but it's not quite working for you yet, stick around until the end of this video. I'm Karonda Adair, Certified Automation Service Provider and CEO of Carvel Digital, and in this video, we're going to talk about 6 best practices to drive more sales using email. Now, before we get into it, I want to let you know this is not going to be a typical guide about which color buttons to use or what to use as your CTA. I want to get into some of the more foundational things that are going to really affect driving sales from email. So let's get into it. The first step is making sure you have the right mindset about using email as a sales tool. If you've been sending email because you've heard that email has a 44% return on investment, or because your coach told you to do it, or because you think you're supposed to, and your heart's not really in it, that is going to show up in your results. The worst email experience I ever had as a subscriber was opting into a quiz-based funnel. So I had to take a quiz and I had to opt in order to get the answers. Well, I never got the results of my quiz, but I did get an email. And that email looked like someone had taken a sales page and pasted it into their email platform and sent it out. And it was a terrible way to start off the relationship, and I immediately unsubscribed. I don't want you to think of your email list as a bunch of subscribers, just a bunch of numbers that you can squeeze sales out of. I want you to think of email as a channel that you can use to build relationships. And even better, it's not a channel that is subject to, the vagaries of the algorithm and all the things we have to deal with on social platforms where we're really not in control of how many people we can reach. The actual emails themselves should be valuable. You should be bringing value to your subscribers, whether or not they buy. But that doesn't mean that you need to nurture them forever before you ask for the sale. In fact, you should be asking for the sale in every single email in some way. And we're going to talk about that more in a little bit. When's the last time you got an email that was really valuable just on its own, whether or not you actually bought the offer? Let me know about it in the comments. In Black culture, we have a phrase that goes, reading someone for filth. And it means that someone has described your situation or your issue so accurately that you feel like they've read you like an open book. When you really know the problems that your audience is struggling with, you can get their attention by showing them that you understand what they're going through and that you have the solution, which of course is your offer. You can take that to another level by using segmenting, which can help you get even more relevant with your messaging. And I talk about that in this video right here. Number 3 is to follow up with 100% of your leads 100% of the time. You don't want to be one of those people that invites people into your email list and then doesn't actually email them. They've asked to hear from you, so you want to follow through on that promise by making sure you send them emails. Now, there are 2 things you can put in place to make sure that this happens. The first one is a welcome sequence, sometimes called a nurture sequence or indoctrination or getting to know you sequence. It's a series of emails that goes out to every single person on your list, and it introduces them to you, your offer, how you like to work, and what's in it for them and how you can help them. The second sequence that you want to make sure to have is an actual sales sequence. This is a series of emails that really goes into depth about your offer from different angles and why someone would want to work with you and the relief that they're going to experience once they have your solution. A lot of people have that initial nurture sequence, but far fewer people have that sales sequence. And if you think about it, if you know that every single lead is going to get introduced to you and then they're going to get a series of emails that sells them on your offer, you are going to drive more sales. Number 4 is to make sure your emails actually get to the inbox. Here's a story time. I had a client many years ago who came to me with lots of email issues, and they were overpaying for software. They didn't know how to use the software. They were doing a lot of really shall we say, black hat or ill-advised email practices, and they had gotten banned from a lot of email servers for the things that they were doing. Getting into the inbox starts with making sure that you don't piss off the email service providers, right? So make sure that you're using best practices. If you are actually treating your list like a channel to develop relationships, then you're probably not going to do anything that's illegal or that's going to get you banned from any of the service providers. The second thing is you want to make sure you're using best practices to keep your deliverability high. You actually develop a reputation with the email providers based on how people engage with your emails. So if you keep sending emails to people who have disengaged from your list, they're not opening your emails, they're not clicking on your links, the email providers see that and they think, this person's emails must not be very good, they must not be very valuable, and they deprioritize you from getting into the inbox. So here's a very simple tip for making sure that you keep your deliverability high. Send more emails to the people who are the most engaged with you, and send fewer emails or stop emailing altogether people who have disengaged with you. So based on how often you send emails, you might decide that if someone doesn't open in 3 months, that means they're disengaged and you're not going to send to them anymore. Maybe you can reach them on a different channel, but you want to keep your email list as clean as possible. Number 5 is sell in every email. I know, sounds obvious, right? But a lot of people are really afraid to do this, and they will spend weeks, months, years just nurturing their list without ever asking for the sale. Now, when I say sell in every email, that doesn't mean you have to be pushy, salesy, or obnoxious about it. And it doesn't mean you're always selling your offer. You might be selling them on a belief that they need to have in order to be successful working with you. You might be selling them on taking an action to take your advice. If they take your advice and they get a good result from them, that's just them proving to themselves that, hey, you know what you're talking about, and that's going to help you make the ultimate sale. Even if you're not selling directly in the email, you should always let people know how they can start to work with you if they're ready to solve the problem that you help with. This could be in a PS line or in something like a super signature where you always have links for them to book a call or go to your sales page or whatever the next action is for them to take. Finally, number 6 is send more emails. Most business owners do not send nearly enough emails to get the results that they're hoping for. They worry about being salesy or they worry about bothering people. And the truth is, they signed up to hear from you, so go ahead and send your emails. If you thought your offer was going to save someone's life, wouldn't you be shouting it from the rooftops? You might not be literally saving lives, but if you are confident and excited about your offer and the way that it can improve people's lives, then you shouldn't feel any qualms about letting people know about that so they can find you when they need you. If you found this useful and you want to know more, go to carveldigital.com/sales engine and sign up for my free webinar on how to turn ActiveCampaign into a sales engine for your business. If you like this video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up and subscribe so you don't miss a video.